Hello everyone and welcome to a new series I'm starting called Circuits of the World. This is all about different racing locations across the world that perhaps don't get as much attention on the international stage as what they might deserve. For this first episode we're heading to Croft in my home county of North Yorkshire for a hot lap and then a short race. Croft then, it's probably familiar to fans of British national motor racing. It's a 2.1 mile FIA Grade 3 circuit with 16 corners and has played host to many British national championships, including the British Touring Car Championship, the British Superbikes, the British GTs and Formula 3, as well as many national rallycross events. If you're not familiar with the track, then you might be familiar with the record holder, a certain Mexican by the name of Sergio Perez, claiming the honours in a Formula 3 car in 2008. But that's enough talking, let's see for ourselves what the circuit has to offer. In the spirit of British national motor racing, I'll be driving this Ginetta GT4 Super Cup car, first for a hot lap, and then we're going to have a short race with the AI. So here we go then for a lap of Croft. We come out of the final hairpin and charge down the start-finish straight into the first corner of Clervaux, I think it's called. But yeah, we look for this first kind of bollard, drop it down a couple of gears, tip it in nicely, use all the track as we go around Hawthorne. And this is a really tricky kind of technical section of the track. You have to take a really late apex and that'll let you get flat out through the chicane on the charge down this next little straight. So this is the charge then into Tower Bend. We're braking just after that 100 metre board. You've got to be very careful around here. It's a very slippery part of the circuit and you've got to get a good exit out of here. It's very important because now you're going to be flat out through the Jim Clark S's as you go to the left, then go to the right. It's all about getting the line right through there, and you can keep your foot down even through Barcroft in the right car, braking hard. For Sunny in, you've got to be careful, it can be a bit understeery into there as we go around Sunny out, just a blend of the throttle there. You need to get some weight over the front wheels to get them to grip. As we come into the complex then, you can use a little bit of a camber there to carry a little bit more speed through as you brake hard for this really tight right-hander. You can get on the power a lot earlier than you think as we come into the final hairpin. Careful not to lock up there as we go around and then get us foot back down for the exit back onto the start-finish straight. So that's a lap of Croft. We know what it's like to drive, but let's see what it's like to race. Alright, so here we are then lined up on the grid with 17 other Ginetta Super Cup cars waiting for those red lights to go out, and away we go then on this little mini race, just 7 laps. Try and keep it nice and short and snappy just to get an idea of what the racing's like around this circuit. It looks like we're off to a decent start, getting a couple of positions already, having to avoid the car in front of us a little bit slow now. This is a very kind of awkward part of the track here. You can't really go side by side. You've got to make sure you're in single file by the time you get to that chicane, otherwise it's going to be an absolute disaster. So we let that car back through then. I didn't want to risk it going side by side with the AI through such a narrow gap. There's only one line there, but this is an important corner then. We need to get a good exit out of Tower as yeah, we go charge down into the Jim Clark S. So we're a little bit quick through there compared to the guy in front, give him a little bit of a nudge, but we carry on then. We can go flat through here. It looks like the cars in front slowing each other down a little bit. We can actually go flat through Barcroft, where we end up lunging up the inside of Sunny in, and we get the position done there. And there we go, Sunny out, a little bit of understeer on the exit, but nothing too bad. As we now come into the complex then, no brake markers, you just got to kind of guess where you're going to brake. As we tuck in right behind this guy, see if we can just nip it up the inside, but that gap's always going to close us. It's quite early on the brakes into the hairpin. We try and find a way around the outside, switch it to the inside. Bit of a switch back there, but we got caught up on the curb. That ruined us exit. But it looks like we have just about got the legs on the car in front. We'll see who's more brave on the brakes into T1 then. And it looks like we're still side by side. We try go around the outside, but we end up conceding the position. Alright, round Hawthorne once again for the second time then. And we need to look for that first apex of the chicane. Once again getting held up a little bit, going off onto the grass there. Croft does host rounds of the British Rallycross Championship, so looks like we're getting in the spirit of Rallycross there for a second. But we come into Tower Bend then for the second time. It's quite bumpy through there, and the corner really kind of spits you out on the exit. But we can settle down then and see about catching up to this car in front of us through the Jim Clark S's and then into Bar Croft. And it looks like we are gaining through here, carrying a lot more speed. We're a lot later on the brakes, and it's a bit of a late lunge into Sunny Inn, but it looks like we get the move just about done as we're just a blend of the throttle through Sunny out. Just checking those mirrors there to make sure the guy is behind us. As we brake then into the complex, down 2 gears, trying to hook the car in to the camber of the corner there. It really helps kind of pull the car around. And we're on the back of another car now. Not much room on the entry to the hairpin, so we're going to try this kind of switchback again. We've got the better exit, but nowhere really for us to go there. So we're just going to tuck into the slipstream as we go on to the next lap then. Looking for that first bollard for his braking point, see if we can send it up the inside of this guy. And I think he's still on my left a little bit there, and he's going to come back round us outside round Hawthorne. And we need to get his foot down and make sure we can pull all the way ahead by the time we get to that chicane, because you don't want to be going side by side through there. There isn't enough space. Speaking of going side by side, we've got a bit of a run on this next guy going left, right. We look up the inside of Tower Bend, just kind of nibbling on that inside curb, and it looks like we've got the better exit. A little bit ropey though as we get a couple of wheels onto the gravel, but it looks like we've managed to get ahead as we go through the Jim Clark S's. Get on the curb a little bit, that upsets the rear, but we managed just about to keep it in one piece as we're a lot later on the brakes than the AI into Sunny Inn. There are no anti-lock brakes in this car, remember, so you've got to be a bit careful with them. But it looks like we've got a bit of a run on the next car in front. I think it's Bakery, it said on his windshield. As we go side by side then into the complex, we're going to have the inside line for this corner, which is the line you really want, as we charge down into the hairpin then. A little bit deep there, going a little bit wide on purpose, because I know I'll get a much better exit. And there you can see we managed to pull ahead. Just checking the mirrors to see where he is. We're not all the way ahead yet, but there he is in the mirror, and that's another car that we'll manage to pull ahead of. Back into T1 then, as we go into Hawthorne, and we can look ahead, try and get the best possible run we can. But I just keep it far too tight through there. You really need to kind of go a little bit wider through that corner and get a really late apex, and it'll launch you down this little straight for the run into Tower, as we have a bit of sun kind of blinding us a bit there, but we're alright as we get a little bit of oversteer on the exit of Tower. It is quite slippy on the exit of that corner. It's very bumpy, and it can throw you off, at least this version of the track. I'll leave a link in the description to the track mod. But we come into Sunny Inn then. We're running out of laps. We really need to be looking to overtake a couple more of these guys as we're charged then into the complex. We're not quite close enough to make a move just yet, but it looks like they're still going a little side by side, as we're a bit too late on the brakes there and nearly pumped the poor guy off. But we managed to keep it in one piece then into the hairpin, once again going a bit wider on the entry so we can get a late apex on the exit, and that's going to launch us down the start finish straight, going side by side with this guy into T1 then, looking for his braking point. There it is. It's still there. He's a bit later on the brakes than us, and he manages just to slither back through then, back into Hawthorne. And this is a much better line, going a little bit wider to take that late apex, the first apex of the chicane, and that kind of spits us out back onto the grass again, but we keep us foot in it, going side by side on the run down into Tower. Once again we look for his braking point. There it is, down into third gear, tip it in. We go a little bit wide though, and the car, I think now on his right hand side, as he gets a bit of a switchback. We're still side by side. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to keep it, both of us go flat through the Jim Clark S's, but we completely commit to that. Car behind us, in the mirror there, he would just have a bit of a wobble on the rear, but we get the job done then, and it looks like we've got a couple of teammates up in front of us, as there's not really anywhere to go just yet, but we put his foot down on the charge into the complex, the final complex of corners. We're going to have a look round the outside maybe, but there isn't isn't really the room. It's a very tight section of track round here. As once again look for the gap, but it closes up on us. He's a bit early on the brakes as we give him a bit of a nudge on the back, but we try that late apex again out of the hairpin, and it looks like we've just about got his nose in. We're going to pick up a little bit of slipstream from the car ahead as well as we come into T1 side by side then on the penultimate lap of this short 7-lap race. It should be about a 10-minute race if my maths is right, but we carry on. We go right the way around the outside of Hawthorne, but we're going to back out of it. We don't want to be going side by side through that chicane. There just isn't room. We patient, wait for the better exit, get the run on the entry into Tower, then up the inside. Once again going a little bit deep though, and the guy comes back at us, but I think we do manage just about to get the better exit and pull ahead, and now we can go chasing after his teammate then round the Jim Clark S's. A little bit wide there, you might have heard I had to lift off the throttle as I just didn't quite get the line right, but we absolutely send it on the inside of Sunny in as we go side by side round Sunny out, but we've got the inside line, and that's going to be us up another position. We have a small gaggle of cars ahead of us then, as we only have one more lap after this to see if we can make any more progress through this race. I think we're quite high up the field actually. We'll see where we end up when we finish. We started down in P18, so it's been a pretty crazy drive. Obviously the AI not on the highest setting, or not as high as I'd normally have them anyway, just because I wanted to get a feel for the racing round here and kind of how easy it is to overtake, and you know, where you're going to overtake. But anyway, on the final lap then, and we're going to come into Hawthorne, and this is the line you want, really wide on the entry, keep it going, hit that first apex of the chicane, throw it left, and look at the overspeed we have on the other car. You gain so much time when you get that corner right, 5/10 on the delta, so yeah, that was pretty good there, but a lot of understeer into Tower Bend, where we managed just to stay ahead of the next guy. Now there's 4 cars ahead of us. I think they're the leading pack of 4 cars there. I don't know if we're going to be close enough to get any more positions, but all we can do is try as best as we slam on the brakes onto Sunny in for the final time on the back of this other Ginette. I mean, they're all Ginettes, but we carry on, and it looks like we've got a little bit of a run. Maybe we can try round the outside into the complex, squeezing him tight to the inside there, but we're going to have the inside for this tight right-hander, which is what you want. The car in front getting a bit on the bump there, the rear end steps out, but we managed to keep it all in one piece round the final hairpin. See if we can get a bit of a switchback move. We've definitely got a bit of a run, but are we gonna have enough speed to get past him by the start finish line? It's neck and neck, but there we are, fourth place, not quite on the podium. We nearly had him. But what an awesome race that was. So yeah, I thought I'd just give my kind of final thoughts on this track. Obviously I'm going to be biased because it's the closest thing I have to a home circuit, other than Oliver's Mount, but unfortunately there are no mods for that for Assetto Corsa. But yeah, I absolutely love Croft. It's a really fun circuit, not just driving the sim, but when I'm watching the touring cars on the TV as well. It's always a good circuit, a lot of fun. So yeah, I'll leave the mod link down below if you want to check the circuit out for yourself. Thank you very much for watching, and if you have any other ideas for any circuits around the world that you think deserve a bit more love and attention, let me know in the comments down below. But that's it for now guys, I'll see you all next time.